Okay, guys, tonight I want to move on now to the meat of week 4 and talk a little bit about where we're going, and also to thank you for the last couple of weeks of confusion and wondering what was going on with the sort of semi-cancellation, but not really, of classes and getting everybody back online and on stream and all that kind of monkey business. So now that we seem to be by that, let me just start there and let you know where we're going. We're starting week 4, okay? 4, not 3, 4. The week 2 stuff, you'll notice I didn't grade anything, and I had a nice video all set up about how I was going to grade and what I expected out of a discussion board, and then suddenly we just lost week 2. Well, where we are now is the fact that everyone has, I think, who was going to catch up from week 2 has caught up. Everybody managed to stick up and stay up with week 3, which was great. I really want to thank the guys who back in the outage week 2, just went ahead and did their work anyway. I thought that was great from all of you. And I'm very, very pleased with what I've seen for people's level of interest and level of input on the discussion board. It's been taken quite seriously, and people understand what we're doing with it. So this week, yeah, the grading process finally begins. It's been quite a convoluted way of going about it. And if there are any questions about anything, please, of course, try to contact me, and I will try to get back to you as soon as I can. Okay, week 4, where are we going? Main topic for this week, topic is competitive balance. And the topic of competitive balance can be a little bit more fun than some of the stuff we've been talking about so far, because some of that stuff has been a little dry, a little technical, almost legalistic in nature when we were talking about monopoly and antitrust. We were talking about essentially forms of business organization, industrial organization. Now we're going to talk about a major intersection of the actual sport itself and the business of sport, and that's the whole idea of competitive balance. I think we've started to see in some of the economic models that teams use and that the sports industry uses that the level of competition and the idea of competition, both on and off the field, are very important. And what you're going to begin reading about and looking at in the material this week is how do leagues in particular, now that we've learned quite a bit about what the purpose of leagues are, how do leagues in particular manage the competitive balance of their product? Does having a dominant team really hurt? Does having a really bad team really hurt? Does having everybody have a chance really help? All these questions come up. And then what we want to do is we want to examine in a couple of different manners how have leagues addressed this issue. What does it mean for them off the field and on the field? The more fun part is, of course, to look with the on the field questions. Leagues do some interesting things. In American sport, we have that institution called the reverse order draft. You know, the team that finishes last gets the first pick of the incoming players. This is to balance out the competition, right? And also, it provides teams with a bargaining chip, doesn't it? A lot of people trade and do things all around their draft choices. Provides some interesting things about how we manage our businesses. And that was a very interesting debate last week, by the way, about the NFL. Is it really one company, one business, 32 businesses? I think maybe the best comment I saw in the end was summing it up where somebody said it was one business, 32 companies, but one business. And you're going to look at the fact is, does a balance between those businesses, is that good for everyone else? So the reverse order draft is one thing. Salary caps is a way of maintaining competitive balance. European sports, particularly soccer, football, as we call it over there, they do it in a completely different way. They have the system of promotion and relegation from a league, where the leagues, the whole football association will be divided up into several divisions, and the bottom 3, for instance, in the English Premier League, the bottom 3 finishers literally are sent down to a lower league, And the top teams from that lower league come up to the premiership for the following year. Economic considerations there are tremendous. And if you do the reading I've asked you to do, you'll see it's a very, very interesting situation. Do you think it could ever work in American sport? Not a method that we're used to, and not a method that I think we're likely to adopt. In fact, there's been some movement in the European leagues to go to a more closed league system. So a lot of things are there this week where you're going to see the real interaction of what goes on the field and off the field. So a few notes of what we need to do. The discussion board, again, is the primary form of engagement for this week. Try to get in there as early as you can so that you have the benefit of working back and forth with the other folks in the class. I've had to say this outside the public forum to a couple of people, but if you wait and try to do everything on Saturday and Sunday, a lot of people have already moved on, and unfortunately, I'm the only guy who's going to be reading your stuff. And if it's really interesting stuff, you haven't engaged anybody else. So please try to get in early and monitor the board throughout the week. I think you will find it to be a much more rewarding experience that way. And that's where we're going to learn things. As usual, as I said earlier, if you have any questions at all, please feel free to contact me. Understand, as I said, that we are in week 4. We will be now considering that we are caught up, and now from this point forward, things would move as normally. Okay? Good luck with all the work on competitive balance. Thank you for the work you've done so far, and I look forward to talking to you again. Thanks.